The Premier League is in the final stretch of the 2020 Fall Simulation season. It's bowl time in Division 2 with the National Semifinals, and the Continental League just keeps rolling along. It's all here on the Capital 2 UWFFL update, which starts now. Hello, I'm Jackson Tate with the Capital 2 UWFFL update. This is episode 3.5. For those of you scoring at home, we want to welcome our new title sponsor of the UWFFL update. It's Capital 2, Who's Knocking at Your Door? Capital 2 with their new Double Rewards Double Indemnity card. Capital 2. So we're going to get started now with the UWFFL Premier League. We come into the final two games of the Premier League. Four teams, Vancouver, Minnesota, Little Rock, and Anchorage, sitting at 7-2 atop the league standings. Remember, the top six will make the playoffs. The top two will get byes into the divisional playoff round. Teams 3, 4, 5, and 6 will play in the wild card round. As we look at the bottom of the standings, remember the last place team will be relegated, and the 10th and 11th place teams, excluding Atlanta, of course, who is going to be leaving for the GSL in 2021, the 10th and 11th place teams outside of Atlanta will be playing in the relegation bowl, where the loser will also be relegated. Now, right now, San Francisco is at 1-8. They, of course, were the 2004 TBFFL champions, so they would head to the Continental League if they were relegated, while all the other teams in danger of relegation, Birmingham, San Diego, Youngstown, they are all non-charter teams. They would be relegated down to Division 2. So, let's get to it. Week 10. Here's the Kingman's Fish Market Premier League scoreboard. Remember, when you're in the Outer Banks, don't forget to stop by the newest location of Kingman's Fish Market in Oregon Inlet for the freshest fresh fish. If it smells fishy, it's Kingman's. Here is the Week 10 scores. Anchorage beat San Diego 26-14. Anchorage goes to 8-2. Vancouver over Pontiac 28-7. Vancouver also goes to 8-2. And over in Wichita, it's Motor City pulling out the victory over the Minnesota Mustangs 30-24. So Minnesota falls down to 7-3 out of that first place tie. Motor City up to 6-4, strengthening their playoff hopes. And Hartford beat Atlanta 17-10. Hartford going to 5-5, trying to make the playoffs. Head to Oklahoma City for the other two games. Little Rock beat Youngstown 25-13. So Little Rock goes to 8-2, and Birmingham over San Francisco 19-16. So let's take a look at the standings now. After 10 games, Little Rock, Anchorage, and Vancouver atop the league at 8-2. Minnesota one game back now at 7-3, and Motor City right there at 6-4. And then you've got Hartford and Birmingham at 5-5 in a tie for that last spot. As of right now, this is going to come down to this last game. Pontiac at 4-6. Atlanta, San Diego 3-7, Youngstown 2-8, and San Francisco 1-9. Now remember, Hartford has the tiebreaker over Birmingham. They beat Birmingham earlier in the season, so if they wind up tied for that last spot, Hartford would get it. So Hartford needs a win or a Birmingham loss in the last game to clinch that final spot. So let's go to the game 11, the final game of the regular season, and it's Vancouver over San Diego 27-20. They go to 9-2. Anchorage over Pontiac 36-13. They finish at 9-2 as well. Pontiac drops down to 4-7. Atlanta beats Motor City. There's an upset, I think. A little bit of an upset anyway. Atlanta maybe dashing hopes for Motor City, but looks like they'll be in the playoffs anyway, as they are now 6-5. And then it was Minnesota beating Hartford 31-24. So Hartford with the loss means that if Birmingham can win their final game, they would get the final playoff spot. So let's go to the final two games. In Oklahoma City, it was Youngstown taking care of business over San Francisco. Youngstown going to 3-8. San Francisco finishing 1-10, so they'll be relegated. And unfortunately for Birmingham, they had to play Little Rock in that final game, and so they lose 30-14. And Little Rock goes to 9-2 as well, and in that three-way tie atop the league, Birmingham misses out on the playoffs, falling to 5-6. Hartford will get that final spot. Let's take a look at the final standings. It's Little Rock, Anchorage, and Vancouver 9-2, Minnesota 8-3, Motor City 6-5, and then Hartford in 6th at 5-6 with that tiebreaker over Birmingham. And then you got Atlanta and Pontiac finishing 4 and 7, San Diego and Youngstown at 3 and 8, and San Francisco at 1 and 10. So that's the playoff picture. These teams are going to fight to get to UWFFL Bowl 16 in Kansas City. Little Rock, in their first year in the Premier League, getting the number 1 seed because they beat both Anchorage and Vancouver. So 9-2, they're atop the league. They'll get the bye. And also Anchorage defeated Vancouver earlier in the year, so they'll get the other bye as they get the tiebreaker to finish second in the 2 seed. And then in the wild card games, it'll be the 3 seed Vancouver Seawolves in Kansas City playing the 6 seed Hartford Whalers. And the 4 seed Minnesota Mustangs will face the 5 seed, the Motor City Express in Wichita. So it's a new name for the former Detroit Demons, but it seems like every year it's Detroit and Minnesota meeting in the playoffs, and this year is no exception. We'll see if they can finally get past the Mustangs, their big rivals. Now down at the bottom we see San Diego and Youngstown will head to Puerto Rico for the relegation bowl. The loser of that game will be relegated to Division II, while the San Francisco Rainfire will automatically be relegated down to the Continental League. Like we said, they're the past champions. In 2004, they won the TBFFL, so they will go to the Continental League. Okay, we'll be back in a minute and check out the other leagues. You're listening to the Capital II UWFFL Update.
Who's knocking at your door? Why, it's a courier with your new Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card. Introducing the Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card. While some credit card companies ask, what's in your wallet, we ask, who's knocking at your door? With the Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card, you earn $2 cash back for every dollar you spend on purchases. That's right, you heard me correctly. Double Rewards equals $2 cash back for every dollar you spend. Spend $12 at Starbucks, we'll send you a check for $24. Spend $40 on dinner at a restaurant and we'll send you $80. Now there is a $99 monthly fee, but don't worry about that. Just use your Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card to fill up your tank with gas at least once a month, and the card pays for itself. In fact, you might say using the Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card is just like printing money. Want your credit limit raised? No problem. Want to use your card to pay your bill? We even allow that. Go ahead, try that with any other major credit card. Now you might be wondering how we are able to afford to give you $2 back for every dollar you spend? Well, it's simple. Your $99 monthly fee goes to pay the premium on a $5 million life insurance policy payable to us upon your death. In the event that you die in an accident, the double indemnity clause kicks in and we get $10 million. But don't you worry about that, because that only kicks in when you die, and then you won't have to worry about it. Just last month, we paid out $28,652,112 in double cashback rewards. Tragically, 3 of our best cardholders died in freak accidents last month. We have actuaries on staff who keep tabs of all the numbers, and it just so happens that we always seem to make a small profit every month. So who's knocking at your door? Go ahead and get the Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card and find out. You can start earning your Double Rewards cash back today. Go ahead and get that extra latte. On second thought, maybe you better not. We know who our least profitable cardholders are and where they live and their spending habits. The Capital II Double Rewards Double Indemnity Card. Who's knocking at your door? By the way, we're owned by the mob.
Alright, this is Jackson Tate, and we're back on the Capital II UWFFL Update. It's time now to find out the results of the National Semifinals in Division II. It was the Wally World Bowl played in Vancouver and the Sunshine Sailboats Bowl in Atlanta. So let's first go to Atlanta, where the Florida Geckos and the Steel City Express faced off. The champions of the Metro South Conference and the champions of the Eastern Association, and the final score was 20-16. The Geckos advance. So the Florida Geckos defeat the Steel City Express 20-16 in one national semifinal. They're going to head to Philadelphia, the Division II National Championship game, which will be, well, sometime coming up here, pretty shortly, I would imagine. Find out who they're going to play. We're going to head to Vancouver now for the Wally World Bowl. It was the Iowa Corn, champions of the Central League, undefeated season, facing the Pacific Coast Conference champion Yellowknife Lumberjacks. And the final score from Vancouver, Iowa defeated Yellowknife 33-28. So for your national championship game in Philadelphia, it's going to be the Florida Geckos and the Iowa Corn facing off for the championship. The winner will be promoted to the Premier League. Now, the losers of these two semifinals, Steel City and Yellowknife, will head to the third place game, which is going to be in Washington, D.C., and the winner of the third place game will face the loser of the national championship game in the Promotion Bowl. They'll be headed to Puerto Rico. So there's two promotions coming out of Division II, the national champion and the winner of the Promotion Bowl. So once again, it's going to be Florida and Iowa in the national championship. Iowa's going to be the home team by virtue of their better record. For this round, they do go to the better records. And then we got to check on Yellowknife and... Thank you. We've got to check on Yellowknife and Steel City and look at the regular season records to see who's going to be the home team in that game in Washington. Nonetheless, great season for all four of these teams to get this far, and two of them are going to be headed to the Premier League to join that league in the fall. Who's going to join those two teams promoted to the Premier League in the fall? Well, that's going to be the champion of the Continental League, and we're going to have some more Continental League action when we return on the Capital II UWFFL Update.
This is Goose for the finest fish market this side of the Pamlico Sound, Kingman's Fish Market. Kingman's known round this fair land for the best quality fish for the best prices. Don't be getting mummicked by them dingbatter fish markets who are nothing but middlemen, want only what's right for them and not caring about you and me. So head on up to or down the waterside to the best fish market round these parts. Kingman's Fish Market, now located up in Oregon Inlet. Kingman's is located in Anchorage, San Francisco, and now Oregon Inlet, North Carolina. So what's that smell? It's Kingman's Fish Market. Hoit hoit on the sound side. You're in Gibsonville and you need to get a load of ore from your mines all the way over to Medicine Hat in order for it to be refined. How are you going to get that done? Here's what you're going to do. You need to call the folks over at Manicotawan Railways, because you know what? Yeah, they go there. Manicotawan Railways has a fleet of trains and rigs that can help get your product from beginning to end, so your supply chain doesn't have to bend. Manicotawan Railways serves the provinces of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, and they also serve the states of North and South Dakota and Minnesota. So don't worry about how you're going to get your ore from one place to the other, or your grain, or what have you, because Manicotawan Railways will have a solution for you. Manicotawan Railways are your logistics partners indeed. Manicotawan Railways, yeah, we go there.
And we're back on the UWFFL Update Show, brought to you by Capital II. Who's knocking at your door? It's games 6 through 8 in the Continental League were played, and we're going to have the results for you now. First, let's take a quick look at the standings after 5 games. Miami and Oklahoma City atop the league at 5-0. You had a big tie. Tampa, Connecticut, Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Texas, and Dallas all at 3-2, while Augusta and Nashville have one win, and Austin and Chicago still looking for that first win. Well, they played 3 more games, and in 2 sites in the Continental League, playing games in Michigan at Detroit and Pontiac, and the games in Detroit went like this. It was Connecticut beating Nashville, Texas over Austin, and Miami defeated Oklahoma City. Big game there amongst the 2 teams that are undefeated that were. Miami going now to 6-0. Oklahoma City is now 5-1. Heading over to Pontiac, it was Dallas over Pittsburgh, Tampa beat Chicago, and Phoenix over Augusta. I'm sorry, I don't have the final scores in front of me right now as I'm recording this, but you'll see them on your screen right there. Austin beat Nashville. This is the second round of games in Detroit. It was Texas over Miami, and Oklahoma City defeated Connecticut. And then back to Pontiac, Pittsburgh beat Tampa, Chicago got a win over Augusta, and it was Phoenix beating Dallas. And then for Game 8, we go back to Detroit. The Miami Cougars defeated Nashville. Texas lost to Connecticut. That's Connecticut beating Texas there. And Oklahoma City goes to 7-1 with a win over Austin. Back to Pontiac for the final game. Pittsburgh over Augusta, Dallas over Chicago, and Tampa defeated Phoenix. So your standings now after 8 games in the Continental League, it's the Miami Cougars and the Oklahoma City Super Beasts at 7-1. You've got Tampa, Connecticut, Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Texas, and Dallas all at 5-3. My gosh, look at these standings. You've got only 3 different win-loss totals. You got 2 teams at 7-1. You've got 6 teams at 5-3, and then you've got 4 teams at 1-7. Augusta, Nashville, Austin, and Chicago. So it's quite a amazing mathematical feat for there to be that many teams at 5-3. You've got a 6-way tie for third through 8th, I guess it would be. And so hopefully that will shake out in the final 3 games, or it's going to come down to a lot of tiebreakers to decide the 6 teams that will make the playoffs. The Continental League, of course, will be just like the Premier League, and the top 6 teams will make the playoffs. The top 2 will get byes, and the 3 and 6 and 4 and 5 teams will play each other in the wild card round. So when we're back in the next episode, we're going to have the final 3 games of the regular season and see how the playoffs are going to start. But for now, that's where we're at in the Continental League. The Cougars and the Super Beasts atop the league at 7-1, with a whole bunch of teams fighting for those last 4 playoff spots at 5-3. So that's it for the Capital 2 UWFFL update. This is episode 3.5. We're going to have a lot more to come in upcoming episodes. I have that Division 2 National Championship game and a 3rd place game, and the wildcard playoffs in the Premier League, as well as GSL Week 15, all coming up with this week in the Simulation Leagues with Drew Abernathy, which episode 4 should be coming out shortly. I don't know when. Just hang tight. And then in the next episode of the update, we're going to have La Liga, and we'll check in on the Union Cup, see how that's going. So for everybody here at UWFFL headquarters, this is Jackson Tate wishing you a good evening and a happy Memorial Day weekend.
This has been a Sport Puck Network special presentation.
This podcast is a production of the Sport Puck Network, located at the intersection of sports, music, and double entendres. Find us on the web